the American dream, or a nightmare in disguise. For years, TLC sold us a vision of the Johnston family that felt like a sanctuary. They were the wholesome answer to the chaotic reality television landscape. We bought into the promise of unconditional love, of a family overcoming impossible odds through tight-knit bonds and Southern hospitality. We tuned in because they felt safe. But something has broken. The cameras, intended to capture a heartwarming success story, have instead captured something they were never supposed to see. We are witnessing the systematic isolation of a family member. This is no longer just a reality show about a little family in a big world. This has become a televised documentation of a family breakdown. Today, we aren't just recapping the latest season. We are conducting a forensic analysis of a betrayal. We are exposing the psychological warfare hidden behind the facade of parenting. We are answering the terrifying question that has been plaguing the comment sections and the message boards. How does a family decide that one of their own no longer belongs? We are diving deep into the excommunication of Anna Johnston. Before we open the case file and reveal the insider theories that the network is trying to bury, I need you to make a move. If you have ever felt like the black sheep, or if you want to support the truth that mainstream outlets are afraid to touch, hit that like button right now. It tells the algorithm that we demand accountability. And if you aren't subscribed, press that button and turn on notifications. We are tracking this story in real time, and you do not want to miss the updates we have coming down the pipeline. This isn't a teenage drama. This isn't a simple case of a rebellious daughter clashing with strict parents. What we are looking at is a textbook case study in scapegoating, gaslighting, and parental abdication. Consider the paradox presented to us in the latest footage. We see Elizabeth, the golden child, stating on camera that their door is always open. It sounds lovely. It sounds inviting. But seconds later, the edit cuts to Anna, tears in her eyes, admitting she feels like the bad person just for existing. That edit wasn't an accident. That was a glitch in the matrix. That was the editor showing us the cracks in the foundation. But to understand why Anna is crying, we have to look at what isn't being shown. We have to talk about the rumors swirling in the private forums and the leaked details that paint a much darker picture than what airs on Tuesday nights. There are insider reports suggesting that the tension we see on screen is only a fraction of reality. Sources close to the production have hinted that the timeline we are being fed has been manipulated to protect the brand of the parents, Trent and Amber. But the internet is undefeated, and the viewers are starting to piece together a narrative that screams of injustice. We are calling this the architecture of blame. To understand it, we have to look at the concept of reciprocity. The family's primary argument, the weapon they use to justify Anna's isolation, is the claim that she simply doesn't try. They paint her as lazy in her relationships. They claim she isolates herself. But let's look at the receipts. Let's look at the geography of this conflict. We have gathered data that contradicts the family's official statement. When the parents and siblings accuse Anna of not visiting, they are ignoring a critical logistical reality. We know from social media sleuths and mapping of their town that the distance between Anna's home and the family compound is not insignificant, yet the expectations for travel seem to land squarely on her shoulders. Why is it that Alex and Emma, who have access to vehicles and phones, are not held to the same standard of outreach? It is a mathematical impossibility for a relationship to be a one-way street, yet the Johnstons have built a toll booth that only charges Anna. Psychologically, this points to a phenomenon known as the identified patient. In many dysfunctional family systems, the group needs one person to be the failure so that the rest can feel like a success. By constantly focusing on Anna's alleged shortcomings, her anxiety, her hesitation, her past mistakes, Trent and Amber get to avoid looking at their own failures as leaders of the clan. If Anna is the problem, then they don't have to fix the toxic culture they've created. There is a circulating theory, one that hasn't been confirmed by the network but is gaining traction among insiders, that the laziness narrative was constructed years ago as a failsafe. It's a branding strategy. If the audience believes Anna is difficult, the parents remain the heroes who tried their best. But that narrative is crumbling. We have to talk about the graduation snub. We have to talk about the lack of visits to Layton. When you strip away the reality TV editing, what you see is a young woman reaching out and a family standing with their arms crossed, waiting for her to jump through hoops that keep moving. This leads us directly into the most damning piece of evidence in this investigation: the open door trap. This is where the passive aggression turns into active psychological damage. Let's analyze the Thanksgiving incident frame by frame. We watched the parents, the supposed adults in the room, admit on camera that they chose not to invite their daughter to a family holiday. Let that sink in. They didn't just forget, they made a conscious executive decision to exclude her. But here's the twist, and this is where the gaslighting comes in. In the same breath, they go to the confessionals and tell the world that everyone is welcome at the Johnston home. This is a lie. It is a calculated contradiction designed to make Anna look crazy. Think about the position this puts her in. It is what psychologists call a double bind. If Anna shows up uninvited, she is crashing the party. She is ruining the mood. She is proving that she is erratic and doesn't respect boundaries. But if she stays away, complying with their lack of invitation, she is accused of not caring and isolating herself. She loses either way. There is no winning move for her on this chessboard, because the game is rigged. Ask yourself, would you walk into a house where the owners discussed not inviting you on national television? Would you feel welcome at a table where your absence was planned? There are whispers that this specific scene, the discussion about the invitation, was reshot or heavily produced to soften the blow, but the raw emotion from Anna suggests the hurt was real. Some theories suggest that there were off-camera text messages sent to Anna, explicitly telling her she wasn't needed, which directly contradicts the open-door narrative they spin for the audience. We are looking at a discrepancy between the private reality and the public persona. This isn't just bad parenting. This is a PR campaign against a child. Now we must address the abdication of Trent and Amber. This is Chapter 3 of our investigation, and it is perhaps the most infuriating. In any family conflict, especially one involving siblings, the role of the parent is to be the mediator. The parent is the referee. Their job is to bridge the gap, to facilitate communication, and to remind the children that they are on the same team. Trent and Amber have not only failed at this job, they have resigned from it entirely. Look at the footage of Trent's conversation with Anna. It wasn't a bridge, it was a demolition. A father's role is to provide security, yet his body language, his tone, and his choice of words were adversarial. He wasn't speaking to a daughter in pain, he was speaking to a defendant. The ego problem here is massive. We are seeing a shift where Trent and Amber prioritize being right over being parents. They aren't interested in fixing the sibling rift. They seem to be weaponizing the siblings against Anna to punish her for her independence. There is a concept called the narcissistic family system. In these high-control environments, the child who seeks independence, the one who moves out, gets a job, and starts a life outside the parent's orbit, often becomes the enemy. Anna represents a threat to the family brand because she is succeeding without them. She has her own home, she has her own life, and instead of celebrating that, the family unit is reacting like an organism attacking a virus. They are trying to expel her because her independence highlights their codependency. We have received emails and messages from people claiming to be locals in their town, and while we cannot verify every single claim, a pattern is emerging. The word on the street is that the Johnston parents are notoriously controlling, and that Anna's refusal to fall in line with their strict, often arbitrary rules is the real source of the friction. The sibling drama is a smokescreen. The siblings are merely foot soldiers in a war declared by the generals. This brings us to the firing squad. We watched the meeting, the sit-down between the siblings. If you analyze the body language in that room, it is chilling. You have a united front of siblings on one side, and Anna isolated on the other. This wasn't a dialogue. This was an ambush. They claim they want to move forward, yet they brought a list of grievances. When Anna tries to discuss the present, they bring up the past. They weaponize her history of underage drinking or teenage rebellion, typical growing pains, and treat them as capital crimes that justify a life sentence of solitude. And when she apologizes, watch closely. When she apologizes for the past, they pivot and attack her for the future. They claim she will just do it again. This is the moving goalpost. The goal of these talks is not reconciliation. The goal is to submit. They don't want their sister back as an equal. They want her on her knees, admitting she is the broken one. They want her to carry the emotional baggage of the entire family so they don't have to. There is a line that echoes in my head when I watch these interactions. They aren't talking with her. They are talking to her. And this brings us to the fourth wall. We have to talk about TLC. We have to talk about the villain edit. Usually, in reality TV, the producers pick a villain early on. They use music, reaction shots, and frankenbiting to make someone look unstable. It seems that early in this season, the production team, perhaps guided by the parents, tried to set Anna up as the erratic emotional problem child. But a strange thing happened. The edit backfired. The audience is smarter than they think. Instead of hating Anna, the comments section exploded with support for her. We are seeing a revolt. The news here isn't just what's happening on screen, it's the meta-narrative of the audience turning against the network's darlings. There are rumors that TLC executives are scrambling. They didn't anticipate this backlash. They thought they were telling a story of tough love, but the world saw it as bullying. We have uncovered threads on forums where users speculate that production actually encouraged the siblings to confront Anna to generate drama for a slow season. If this is true, it raises a massive ethical question. Did a television network dismantle a young woman's mental health for ratings? And did her own parents sign the release forms allowing it to happen? The ratio of negative comments about Anna in the confessionals versus the actual footage of her behavior is skewed. We are being told she is crazy, but we are seeing a woman who is just hurt. Let's pause the investigation for a moment and look at the human cost. We need to have some sympathy for the devil, or at least the person they've painted as one. Anna is navigating adulthood, adoption trauma, and the immense pressure of public scrutiny without the one thing she needs most: a safety net. She was adopted into this family with the promise of a forever home, and now, that home is looking more and more like a conditional rental. And what about the siblings? It's easy to paint Alex, Emma, and Elizabeth as the villains. They are certainly acting the part, but we have to consider the golden child syndrome. In a toxic system, the children who comply are rewarded, but they are also terrified. They have a front-row seat to what happens when you cross the parents. They see Anna being exiled, and consciously or subconsciously, they know that if they step out of line, they could be next. Their cruelty towards Anna might not be born of hatred, but of fear. They are performing loyalty to survive. They are attacking the scapegoat to prove they are part of the in-group. This story hurts to watch because it exposes a universal truth that we are terrified to admit. Unconditional love is often a myth. We want to believe that family is forever, but the Johnstons are showing us that in some families, membership can be revoked. We are learning that blood might be thicker than water, but toxicity is thicker than both. As we move deeper into this analysis, we need to look at the timeline of the excommunication. There are discrepancies in the dates of filming versus the dates of social media posts that suggest the family was putting on a happy face for Instagram while simultaneously icing Anna out in real life. We have found deleted comments, scrubbed from the parents' accounts, where fans asked, "Where is Anna?" and were blocked. Why block the fans if there is nothing to hide? Why silence the questions if the answer is simple? The silence is the loudest part of this story. The family's refusal to address the core issue, their own rigidity, is what is driving the speculation. We are seeing a media empire built on family values crumbling under the weight of its own hypocrisy. And standing in the rubble is Anna, the one person who actually seems to be living in reality. We promised to dissect the language of Amber Johnston, and this is where the investigation turns dark. We are opening Exhibit B, the weaponization of language. In the most recent sit-down interviews, listen closely to the pronouns Amber uses. When she speaks about Alex, Emma, or Elizabeth, she often uses we and us, reinforcing the collective unit. But when the topic shifts to Anna, the language shifts to she and her. It is a subtle linguistic distancing technique. It is the verbal equivalent of pushing someone away with your hands. Psychological experts who observe high-conflict family dynamics often point to weaponized vulnerability. We saw this when Amber began to cry while discussing how hard it is to deal with Anna. On the surface, it looks like a mother's heartbreak. But let's look closer. These tears often appear exactly when the line of questioning threatens to expose her rigidity. It is a defense mechanism designed to garner sympathy and shut down the interrogation. By becoming the victim, she makes Anna the aggressor, even though Anna is the one currently exiled from the kingdom. The narrative becomes, "Look how much you are hurting your mother," rather than, "Look how the mother is failing the child." Now, we have to follow the money. This is the angle that TLC legally cannot discuss, but it is the one that might explain everything. We have reports from industry insiders regarding how reality TV families structure their finances. Typically, the parents form an LLC to receive the network payouts. In many cases, the children, even the adult children, are paid through the parents, or their contracts are contingent on filming with the family unit. Here's the terrifying theory circulating in the underground forums. What if Anna's submission is tied to her livelihood? If she doesn't make up with the family, does she lose her paycheck? This would explain the immense pressure on her to apologize for things she didn't do. It isn't just about Thanksgiving dinner, it's about rent. It's about survival. If the parents hold the purse strings, they hold the power. We are seeing a potential financial hostage situation disguised as a family dispute. We need to ask, is Anna being forced to dance for her dinner? Let's pivot to the sibling dynamic, specifically Elizabeth. The golden child plays a crucial role in this tragedy. Elizabeth has had her own scandals, the pregnancy, the relationship turmoil, yet she was welcomed back into the fold with open arms. Why? Because she needed them. She returned to the nest. This reinforces the parents' need for control. Anna's crime wasn't bad behavior. Her crime was self-sufficiency. Anna bought a house. Anna manages her own life. In the eyes of a controlling parent, a child who doesn't need you is a child who has rejected you. We are seeing the divide and conquer strategy in real time. By accepting Elizabeth and rejecting Anna, the parents send a clear message to the younger siblings, Alex and Emma. Compliance equals love. Independence equals exile. It is a chilling ultimatum. The footage of the siblings sitting stone-faced while Anna cries is not evidence of their cruelty, but evidence of their survival instinct. They are witnessing a public execution of their sister's character, and they are terrified of being next on the chopping block. This brings us to the elephant in the room, the adoption narrative. This is a sensitive subject, but we cannot conduct a full forensic analysis without touching it. The Johnstons built their brand on being the saviors who adopted children from around the world. It is a beautiful story. But in the trauma community, there is a known expiration date on the savior complex. When the adopted child is cute and small, they are a trophy of the parent's goodness. But when that child becomes an adult with trauma, with a personality that clashes with the biological or preferred mold, the savior narrative collapses. Anna is Russian. Her background is different. Her temperament is different. And for years, we have watched the parents try to mold her into a Southern, neurotypical, compliant version of themselves. They tried to sand down her edges. And now that she has refused to be reshaped, they are discarding the sculpture. It raises the uncomfortable question. Did they love Anna, or did they love the idea of saving Anna? The difference is heartbreaking. The audience has caught on. The news here is the massive shift in public sentiment. If you look at the official TLC social media pages, the ratio is devastating. For every one comment supporting Trent and Amber, there are 50 supporting Anna. The viewers are serving as the jury in this trial, and the verdict is guilty. The fans are pointing out the hypocrisy of a father who preaches respect but speaks to his daughter with contempt. They are pointing out the coldness of a mother who can organize a perfect party but cannot offer a warm hug to her distressed child. We are also tracking a digital footprint cover-up. Our research team has noticed that certain negative comments on the family's personal pages are vanishing. Who is scrubbing the record? This is digital censorship. They are trying to curate a reality that no longer exists. They want us to believe they are still the happy, wholesome bunch from season 1. But we have the screenshots. We have the archives. You cannot delete the truth once the internet has seen it. This leads us to the universal truth of this saga. Why are we so obsessed with the excommunication of Anna Johnston? Why does this hit us so hard? It's because it exposes the fragility of the family first myth. We are taught that family is the one place where you are safe, where you are accepted, warts and all. Watching The Johnstons is a horror movie because it shows us that for some, family is a country club where your membership can be revoked if you violate the bylaws. It validates the pain of every viewer who has ever been the scapegoat, the black sheep, or the outcast. Anna is an avatar for everyone who has ever had to choose between their mental health and their mother's approval. So, what is the final verdict of this investigation? We have identified 5 key pillars of this betrayal. First, the lack of reciprocity. Anna is expected to give everything and receive nothing. Second, the fake open door, the invitation that never comes. Third, parental abdication. Trent and Amber refusing to mediate and instead choosing to instigate. Fourth, accusatory communication, talking at her, not with her. And finally, the the media ambush, using the platform of national television to humiliate a young woman. The Johnstons have achieved the fame they sought. They have the ratings. They have the brand deals. But at what cost? They have sold their integrity for a season renewal. They have won the ratings war, but they have lost their daughter. And eventually, when the cameras stop rolling and the lights go out, they will be left in that big house with the silence of the child who isn't there. This story is not over. The narrative is still being written, not by the editors in the TLC cutting room, but by us, the witnesses. The court of public opinion is now in session, and we need your testimony. I want you to go to the comments section right now. I want you to leave your verdict. Is Anna the problem, or is she the victim of a narcissistic family system? Have Trent and Amber failed as parents? Do not let them control the narrative. Let's get a discussion going that is so loud the network cannot ignore it. And listen to me closely. We are currently investigating the timeline of the upcoming season. There are rumors that Anna might be pulling away from filming entirely. If that happens, we will be the first to break the story on the financial implications and the legal fallout. You do not want to be out of the loop on this. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications. We are the resistance. We are the ones telling the story they tried to edit out. This is the 7 Little Couple channel, and we are signing off until the next leak drops. Stay vigilant.